Do you see here? Hi guys. Well, it's a little lunch break vlog. I'm in the same woods where I was, probably, was it last week probably, walking around. Show you a little bit. It's a little picnic ground. Over there is a public toilet and places to play for the children. I'm not actually quite certain, actually picnic grounds, and it might actually have something to do with water treatment or something as well over here. But I know that we used to live not very far from here when we first moved in this part of the country, and they would often come here with the kids for their picnics. Yeah, right, service des eaux. Yeah, so it has to do with water treatment. So just walking around, it's kind of nice. As you can see, it's a spring day. There's a guy over there with his dog, and the dog is wondering what I'm doing, probably the man as well. Yeah, so we're at 722 meters here. So if you look actually, bonjour. So if you look actually, this is well, it's, you know, it's funny, it's similar heights to mountains that you'd see often in the, well, hills that you'd see in the Appalachians. Nobody would ever dare call it a mountain here, but yeah, it's sometimes it's relative, isn't it? I mean, you have ski centers, like if you look in Quebec, Sutton, Quebec, S-U-T-T-O-N, and look at the height of the ski centers, they're probably not as high, or at maximum, probably they're about like the height of where we were here. And yet, I mean, it's a decent ski center for over there. Yeah, you know, it's the terrain. It's different. Depends, I mean, like, you know, how high from one, I would say from the bottom to the top. But yeah, you know, it's funny because I remember the first time that I went back to Canada and looked at the, I would say the height of the mountains. I was almost shocked because I was feeling like, wait a minute, for a Swiss, these are like dwarfs. And yet it isn't the case. It wouldn't be the case either. Everything seems to be relative sometimes. Oh, where am I going with this log? Nowhere, actually. I just wanted to take some time over lunch and just walk. This week, it seems like the weeks keep going. There's been a lot going on. I went and had a meal. It was an interesting situation, actually. I went with a meal with friends of mine who were in the, what I used to call the specialized unemployment office. So that was for people basically that had degrees and so on, and they help us to network. And so we had a meal together. Yeah, you can tell we're still not through this, should we call it depression? Anyway, whatever you want to call it. Because a lot of the people, well, the majority, still not found work. And there was a new guy that was there. I bring that on because when a guy comes up to you and we're going to eat, and he drives up with a Maserati. I mean, Maseratis are the type of cars, you know, that make Ferraris, you know, look like second-hand Ford or something like that. And no, I mean, we're talking about cars that are probably like, you know, 300,000-400,000, I don't know. I mean, and I was looking at that guy driving up, and I thought, wow, it's a Maserati. And then you realize, like, this is a guy who's unemployed. Wow. I still don't quite know what to make of that. But I've seen a few cases like that where you really wonder, you know, what is going on. Or could you say only in Switzerland? I don't know. I went yesterday also. I was representing the company in a conference. And yeah, I can't get into the details because some are due to confidentiality agreements. But it's interesting at times when you compare, I would say, the quality of industrial work and sometimes what's at universities. And probably one could say also people are coming along joggers. I would say what you have to look also is sometimes what goes into it. I mean, the universities today's day are out to get your money as well. I mean, they're looking for funds. And companies are looking for profits. And sometimes these two things are not mutually exclusive. But other times, the university just tries to drag on the projects so that they can get more money out of you or of the state or wherever. But in these cases, probably more out of the company. So, yeah, you're in a situation where the company is not always the bad guy, depending on where you're looking at it. Relative. Yeah. It is strange, isn't it, in today's world, what we call the postmodern age. Postmodern meaning that truths have become relative. At least that's what it basically comes down to, the postmodern worldview of truths. So many things, morals being relative. Now, I have to tell you, I don't buy into that. I don't buy into this relativism of truth and moral. I mean, good is good and bad is bad. And I know there are gray areas. I mean, I'm not quite that naive, but if there's no standard, you can move the goalpost the way you want, which means that finally there is no truth, if you look at it that way. And I don't go into that. Okay, so, I ended up showing you around, and finally ended up talking about postmodernism. And I bet I'm way ahead. Let me see, can I see how many minutes? Oh, that's not too bad. Between 6 and 7. But I think anyway, if I want to do some more vids this weekend, and try and catch up on yours, because once again, it's been a week where I have not been able to be on YouTube. I'm starting to feel like a weekend YouTubeaholic. Okay, guys. So I'd just like to say to all of you, this is BDC signing off. Take care and hope you had a good week. Bye.